This is Margaret Ann Windsor. Peggy Ann Dempsey is the name they gave me. Last name's Childers. I married when I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace and brought to Moulton, Alabama, and given the name of the deceased twin. Both of them, Peggy and Carl, were dead, killed by their mother. They were born out of wedlock. And I found out about my kidnapping in '83. And by the way, the British told me when I was in the political campaign. And I've forgotten now, I'm having to redo this tape. The other one was too long. I was flown out to Larry Flint's. I had written a book about mind control and programming people in '77, '78. You can program them to commit any act. It's a myth that you can't force people to do what they don't want to do. That's a total lie. But anyway, that you can do masses of people to go out and as acts of war, or like the Columbine in Tucson and Sandy Hook and Aurora, Colorado, and the Virginia Tech, which is next door to me, the 33 there, and the Fort Hood shooter finished school at Tech, Virginia Tech, and he was a psychiatrist, the Fort Hood shooter was. And he was programmed. So what I wanted to do was, when I was flown to Larry Flint's, because the guy that shot him was programmed. He actually says in there that I know who's responsible for the shooting. But during that time, and let me remind you, Larry McDonald, the congressman, doctor from Atlanta, he was in the House of Representatives. I wrote about him in this book, and I was filled full of antifreeze on April the 1st of '80. And I had a letter from the U.S. Attorney June the 23rd of '79 of an ongoing investigation, national security involved. Now, fast forward to '83, Larry McDonald was in the Korean jetliner from Juneau, Alaska to Seoul, Korea, South Korea, when it veered off of course, and it was KAL Flight 007. And all the people aboard, 200 plus, went down the ocean and died. It was shot down by a Soviet MiG. And here's the doctor I wrote about, and I'm in this campaign to replace him. I'm actually living on the street of pauper, begging. So Flint flew me out there and helped support me during the campaign. But the point I want to make here is that Hawkins, I was working through Hawkins, a temp agency, and this is where I was sent out to Lovett or Lovell Private School. Ian Zorings was a man control murder done here in Bedford, Virginia, next door to me, in April the 15th, '85. Now, I was living in Grottoes, Virginia then, but I'm here now, and that's a man control murder. Jens is a diplomat, German diplomat son, but he's in Buckingham State, Virginia prison. But during that time in '83, I was working for Hawkins Agency, and I was told that the police and the FBI had come by, and that they were going to do a total background check on me everywhere I'd worked and lived. So, it's so preposterous you can't do anything. You'd scream if you didn't laugh. Here the crimes are being committed against me. I mean, you can't even list them all. And they're going to investigate me? Anyway, I moved up to Roanoke in '06, October. Got off the bus from begging for a ticket to get here to do what? Place to live. I've been run from there to there to there. I get off, and it's winter up here. And no money, no place to stay, scared to death. A British lady that had been on the bus prior, and I'd gotten off to get another ticket. I have to ask for a ticket. She was on the bus with me up from Nashville, And she actually, it was just the two of us part of the way. She actually told me that she was British. She told me that my father was still alive at that time, King Edward VIII, the real King Edward VIII, not the double that was used to marry Wallace Simpson. My dad was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, American Catholic, Irish, legally and all. So that whole thing was a lie. And I'm the monarch, the legal one, that was kidnapped and brought to Moulton, Alabama. Now then, what was used on me here is I was shut down. I couldn't get jobs or anything or a place to live. That would be shut down. And in fact, your law enforcement has been the arm that's helped do it, and people did it gladly. Hey, she's British. It's a joke. We can kidnap the monarch. Not only do we celebrate the 4th of July, we even kidnap the monarch. You know, they don't tell that, though, and what they've done to me. It's a hidden joke here that they don't want told. Private joke, I guess, among Americans. But anyway, I'm allergic to chemicals, and my immune system attacks itself. It's an immune disorder. And let me say this, I've been force-fed. I'm going to condense this. It's been force-fed to me where I've lived when I managed to get a place to live. I'd have to break the leases if I had a lease, and because of it, it's breaking my body in part. This has been going on, this phase of it, since '06. They would even come up on the Appalachian Trail, send the club members or the volunteers that do the trail, and get them to soak and run me. Soak my tent, soak my sleeping bag. You can't get fuel and all this the stuff they sprayed on me. It would kill anybody. You can't get it out of your sleeping bag and tent. So it left me begging up and down the trail, tearing my back up, trying to live, freezing, starving. No one would help me. The police told them not to, and they complied. In fact, they helped kill me. That's what's happening to me. My lungs, liver, kidneys, blood vessels, and veins are all broken from it. So they've controlled everywhere I've lived, and people don't like to believe it, even with Snowden telling what he's told. People shut it down. It's like it's okay to do it. Just get away from me. And one FBI agents back in Atlanta told me in '82, he faked yawning and said, you know what people do with what you tell them? It bores them. It's only when they find out how it affects them that they will care. Well, they really wouldn't care for me, they'd care for themselves. But everywhere I've gone, and I'm going to focus on 3 of these because they're federally funded, Section A. I'm going to go to corporate suites first and show this. And the rent was always paid. There wasn't eviction. Well, excuse me. Mr. Sizer did fake one, and I left. He kept my deposit. I had no electricity. This man really worked me over. He even had the cops there. And now I'm told when I call Bobtock County that it wasn't a real eviction notice. We didn't have a reason to evict me. I'd paid my rent. Ron Sizer's his name. It was on Valley Way. It has this beautiful spread out there in the country. And I lived in a little cottage behind it. And he allowed me to stay there and pay rent for November, the middle of November, December, January, February, March, and April 1st. I had to be out. I'm not even going to show this. It's so preposterous. He charged me $900, and this was turned over to the credit bureau. And made all kinds of claims that I destroyed his place, left garbage in it, and he charged me for hauling it off. There wasn't any garbage. It was all a lie he did, and he got away with it. Right there, termination of, and then they tell me that he just typed it up. The cops were there with him. We're on Sizer. Okay, now I'm going to show you, this is Affordable Corporate Suites. It's owned by a Jewish man who, quite frankly, told me he enjoyed what they were doing to me. Right to my face he did. A corporate suites on Northern Drive, I believe it is, on Lakeside Shopping Center. And Roberta was the black manager. That he had gotten her out of housekeeping, made her manager, and she's the one that did the stuff to me here, helped do it. And where he sat there on the day I left and said, yeah, he enjoyed doing it to me. He's got them on Lanford Street, Florist Drive, Overland Drive, and the one is called Corporate Suites in Northern. I've been to them over and over all the years. They've done it to me over and over. I've tried to leave Roanoke or Virginia, and I have to come back here, where I'm force-fed. So these people should be locked up and never see the light of day. They should have it done to them. But let me show you Affordable again, where I paid the rent. And this is one of them that's owned by the Jewish guy. Signed by Gene Croft, and it says Peggy has moved in here. Let me remind you that Peggy's not my name, and I'm having the insult of using a dead person's name when I'm a monarch. Moved here August of 2009. She's always paid her rent on time. If you have further questions, please call. And this was her letter. Now then, this is where after 17 months, they gassed me. I'm having to pay to be gassed and tortured. They finally raised the rent to where there's no way I could pay it. It took every penny as it was. So here's this letter. Affordable by Gene. Due to rental rate increase from $888 to $1,015 per month, Ms. Childers found it necessary to move from our facility. While she lived here, she always paid her rent on time, etc. And let me remind you that most of these places are, well, not affordable, but they kept my deposit. Sizer and a number of these people who broke the law against me kept my deposits. Forced me to leave and then kept my deposits. Now, I wanted to go to the HUD, this federally funded Section 8. Edinburgh, by the way, I'm not going to make it. I'm going to just say this. I'm going to show this one where I had to go to Edinburgh again after all these years, after being gassed, and begged, and then told that, well, they'd do it to me again. And this is it. So these people are brought before a court of law and forced to tell the truth. Now, to go back to a place that's ridiculous, and I wanted to say real quick that at Joseph's Way they did the same thing, and then I reapplied at Joseph's Melinda's Way here in Christiansburg, and they told me they were going to have to do a background check on me everywhere I had been or worked. You don't do that on a HUD. I'm no felon or any of that. It sounds like back at Hawkins in '83. And they've been allowed, before I went to Flint, they've been allowed to commit every vile act in the book. And I'm a shady character.